platform's looking great, bike's looking great, and all the media coverage and exposure we're doing, and Ctas and that, they're just doing such a good job.
Well done, onto the sidecars. Thank you, guys.
Okay, we're going to start for the second sidecar race of the weekend, and it is number 18. And number 18 out in the front there. No surprises there, they set a lap record, but trying to keep them honest is Tracy Bryan doing the passenger for Aaron Lovell there. And I think they may have even slipped down to third place. No, they're in second place there. We're joined in the commentary box by Tracy Bryan's husband, Steve, and mechanic. He's working on several bikes this weekend, and he's going to give us some information both about the sidecars and the gossip of what's been happening and who's been changing what. But right now they go into the hairpin for the first of 10 laps for the second sidecar race of the weekend here at Ruapuna for the 2016 National Championships, Superbike Championships, and a battle on there for third place. Spike Taylor and Astrid Hartnell lining up Aaron Lovell and Tracy Bryan there, Steve.
Yeah, that's the Tim Reeves 2016 World Championship winning bike. That's a LCR machine with a GSX-R1000 in it, very similar to Aaron's bike, apart from some minor details. So yeah, the first three all LCR machines, first one running a Kawasaki engine, second two running GSX-1000s.
And the LCR machine stands for Louis Christian Racing. They're made in Switzerland. We don't have any Windows out here. Windows on an English machine. We had a window out here, a couple of windows out here in the last couple of seasons, but they seem to have disappeared off the face of the earth at the moment. Although what's Pete the Pirate there on the 111 machine?
He's on his LCR this afternoon. He gave it a run this morning and found it was going better than the Windle today, so yeah, he's popped out there on it.
Had a bit of drama in the last race. His passenger tapped him on the shoulder. Passenger Matt Gibbs hasn't done a lot of sidecar racing, but has been out there and won New Zealand Superbike class races with his rider. I can't remember his rider's name off the top of my head, but it'll come back to me. But Matt Gibbs' leathers actually come loose, come unzipped, and it took him some time to reorganise that. And meanwhile, his rider didn't know what was happening, so they got back on the pace yesterday. They were having a real battle with number 49, the local team of Warwick Dimmicks, and Will Clymer, another local team there. Number 14 NZ is Alex McDonald with Adrian Gorse doing the passenger. McDonald, 72, 73 years of old, and a very, very hard charger. Okay, out to the front there, another fine lap for Aaron Lovell and Tracy Bryan there. They seem to be closing in on that number one bike. I mean, this number one bike is just absolutely beautifully prepared. It went to Hampton Downs and with a different rider on, 6 times world champion Tim Reeves and Mark Wilkes doing the passengering, broke the lap record up there by 3.5 seconds and nearly 4 seconds off the Banfield lap record. They broke the lap record at Whanganui, but it certainly wasn't the great slice out of it they had at the previous two tracks, but that bike was sold. The Carl Cox Motorsport team bought that motorcycle and put it Robbie Shorter doing the passing for Colin Buckley on it, and Class Act of their own. But tyre-wise, who's changed tyres for this race? Do you know there, Steve Bryan?
Well, there's a couple of issues. Aaron's saving his best tyre for the Grand Prix later on, but the Carl Cox team got a bit of an issue. They imported some tyres from overseas, and it seems the wrong stuff's turned up. They've got 13-inch rears turned up, and it's got 14s on that bike, so they're running a bit shorter tyres. I'm sure that Gavin Sokolich, the team manager, will have things sorted out before next weekend. He'll no doubt pull out the stops like he does and get some tyres here on time.
Sidecar tyres very hard to procure in New Zealand and even out of Australia. It still takes time. They've got to have the right stuff in stock. So it's all about tyre wear at the moment. And lap time wise, we got a new lap record yesterday. The old lap record was a 39.656 set in 2011 by Steve Bron and Dennis Simonson, and it was lowered yesterday to 38.124s by Colin Buckley on the number 18 machine with Robbie Shorter doing the passengering there. They're now in the high 138s, in fact the 138.898. The wind is affecting them out there. Has the wind dropped outside, Steve Bryan?
No, it's still pretty miserable out there actually. It got quite cold for a bit. I think the weather's turning from the south now, and it's just quite miserable in the wind, and it'll give them a bit of a speed advantage down the front straight, but yeah, hopefully no one overshoots with that sort of tailwind.
So we were talking about the weight of your wife there, and we guessed it pretty well within a kilo. And that next, she's a very thin lady. There's not much meat on her. How many bruises does she end up with a weekend out of this from sidecar racing?
Well, I have to say Whanganui was a bit of a new level. She was on 2 bikes, and of course the different bikes give you bruises in different places. And I'll tell you what, I was afraid I was going to be had it for domestic violence after that one. She was black and blue from top to toe. So yeah, she's only got a couple of little ones yesterday. This is quite a good track, and because one bike, so she's only yeah, just got a couple of small marks on it, but yeah.
I can remember in my sidecar racing days, I was New Zealand champion for sidecar passenger from 89 to 92, 3 times New Zealand champion, and every now and then you used to break a rib just riding. You'd slam down on the body and break a rib. Well, you can't just go, oh, this is hurts and I'll slow down, because your rider's still going just as fast as he ever was and slamming around on broken ribs again and again. You just shut out the pain and get on with it, and the adrenaline takes over, and that's the main thing. And at the end of the day, you strap those ribs up, but it's bloody hard work. It's bloody hard work.
The broken rib comes from not holding onto the bodywork tight enough, and the brakes get slammed on, and you fly up with the bodywork at a great rate. That and bruised kidneys, that gives you some interesting symptoms as well.
Okay, a 38.898 for Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter. They've slacking off the pace and into the low 40s. A 148.80, a 138.439 for the number 93 bike in second place. So just 40 thousandths of a second separating. We have about a 2.5 second gap on the track. What I'm going to assume here is that the Carl Cox Motorsport team out in the front have opened up a bit of a buffer. They've looked at their pit board and know that they've got a little bit of a buffer of 2.3 seconds, and all concerned about this tyre wear, because they probably all know that Aaron Lovell and Tracy Bryan have got a new tyre to fit for the next race, but they haven't. A battle going on there in the hairpin for 5th and 6th, I think, or 7th place. Pete the Pirate on the number 111 machine with Matt Gibbs doing the passengering, goes in there with Alex McDonald lining them up. Alex got out at Taupo and led a New Zealand Superbike Championship race for most of the race last year at Taupo, was pipped at the end for a win, but Alex, even at 72, 73 years old, he's as strong as an ox, Steve Bryan?
He's a fit man, yeah. Yeah. As well. Just about Aaron and Tracy's outfit. Tim Reeves has been giving me a massive hand with the setup of that bike, and he's got the best bike he's ever ridden at the moment. These things are infinitely adjustable, and it's really easy to get them wrong, and it's also really easy to get them right when you know what you're doing. And I've been very lucky to have Tim on the phone most of the weekend so far, and just getting that bike as sharp as it's ever been. So it's turning beautifully in both directions now, and it's mainly chassis I've been playing around with, not the engine.
What a massive boost to New Zealand sidecar racing, having a 6-time New Zealand champion out here. What he did, a world champion. What he did was he come out here. He didn't just go out there and race his own race and that. He sat behind some of the other teams and that, and says, listen, mate, if you do this and you do that, your setup will be improved a little bit. And it proved that well, because most of the sidecars, the top 3 sidecars, went under old lap record times in the Suzuki series. So, and it is great to see a 6-time world champion go back home to England. He could be sitting there with a cup of tea and sleeping at home, but he's tuned in via Ctas live timing to listen to and watch this. And of course he's texting Steve Bryan to say, look, you might want to change a bit of setup here, and good on you boys, and good on you. Yeah.
Actually, his flight's been delayed, so he's actually flying out tomorrow morning early, so he's still in New Zealand. He's with Gavin from Carl Cox Motorsport at the moment, watching on Ctas. So yeah, but he's given us so much that we've all come off richer. It's like we've all gone off and done a round of the worlds, really, and it saved us the effort of doing that.
And part of this whole effort is the fact that the team you see out in the front, Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter, took a short bike, a little 600, that's the CC limit to the Isle of Man. They took one over there this year and placed a creditable 15th in the first race and a massive 11th place in the second race. They also took their Formula 1 bike from New Zealand and went over and did the World Championship. So they got to mix with the World Championship people at the Supersides and that, and it's great to see. They left that bike over in Europe and they bought this bike. Carl Cox Motorsport and Gavin, is it Slokovic? Can't remember how you spell it. Sokolich, yeah. And he's bought this bike to stay in New Zealand, and tell you who's great to have in the crew here is a supporter of your team there, or Tracy's team and Aaron's team, is Gary Goodfellow. Now he was a former World Superbike level competitor. I think he won a race in Sugo in Japan, and he's come on board to help support this team, and that's great. And it's good to have old Goody here.
Yeah, Gary's been a massive supporter of the Aaron Lovell team, the Shoesy brand. He provides health jewellery, which the Shoesy brand, which is a nano-vibrational technology devices, the health bracelets. Yeah, Gary's he was the first guy ever to win superbike race with a tyre change thrown in. So I don't think anyone's ever done that before or since.
Hey, he must be a good guy. Imagine in the old days when they were sitting out there picking names and they called him Goodfellow. I guess it's better than Ramsbottom.
That's it, right, isn't it? Yeah. No, look, he's so involved with the team. He's just great to have around. He's so enthusiastic and very knowledgeable on the racing front, obviously, as well. So.
And he's doing the tour of the South Island as well with his partner Colleen and on the bike.
Yeah,
they're riding.
We've got all his gear in the trailer, and he's come down on the Harley without too much gear on him, and he's having a great time. Yeah.
Oh, it'll be interesting to see what it's a bit of an interesting choice of bike, a Roadwell, a Harley Davidson, although we do see one of Aaron Slight's favourite motorcyclists from the road is a Harley Davidson. Okay, a closing up of between first and second. The last lap we saw 2.879 between first and second place. They're closing up there. Aaron Lovell and Tracy Bryant reeling in the number 1 machine on the track. The number 18 bike, Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter. There's 5 laps to go. They line them on the long straight, front straight, 2.879 seconds. The gap now is down to 2.2. Lap time wise, we saw Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter put in a 1:41.6. 0.6 of a second quicker in that last lap is Aaron Lovell and Tracy Bryant. 4 laps to go, 2.2 seconds. That's 2.4 seconds they can make up. Of course, that's unless Robbie Shorter gives his rider a tap on the shoulder, or they look at the pit board and find out they've just got to find that extra leg to get a second win of the weekend.
Yeah, from talking to Tim Reeves, I'd say tapping someone on the shoulder is probably not the thing to do. The next thing you do is a long walk back to your van and leave the premises, because tapping's really out. You just sit there and suck it up and. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't actually talking about a tap to say slow down to the rider. It's more of a tap to say speed up. But of course, the difficulty is even the distance on these long bikes between the rider and the passenger means that usually the passenger can't even reach the rider to give them an indication. It's also about where the indication comes from. Sometimes it's a tap on the left shoulder. Sometimes it's a tap on the right shoulder. Just to say, tap on the left shoulder might be speed up. Tap on the right shoulder means slow down. Does that happen often at sidecar level, Steve Bryant?
Well, yeah. I mean, some people have good communication. I mean, Scrivy and I with the short bike, we're basically all over each other the whole race, and I got on one of these things one time and I felt like I was sitting on the back of a ute. It was a very different sensation, having the engine under the passenger instead of the engine under the driver. So yeah, very different machine to be on. You can barely reach the rider.
And Tracy Bryant, been a dental assistant for a number of years. I don't know how many years she's been doing cavity searches up in the Tauranga, and she's going to start a new job on Monday.
She is, yep. She's starting at Sherston Auto Centre, a small European car garage in Tauranga, and she's going to have a new boss. And yeah, so that's her first bird changing out of the dental industry.
Oh, well, so who's going to do the cavity searches now?
Well, her new boss is going to be me, actually. So that might be yet to be sorted out, really. I don't think she'll have a boss. Tracy will be the boss, I think. Yeah.
Okay, we saw 2.2 seconds between first and second place there a lap before. It's now stretched out to 2.7, so there must be some sort of a pit board indication going out there telling Colin Buckley to open it up a little back. 3 laps left to go. We see them going into the hairpin. 3 laps left to go, as I said. The number 18 machine followed by the number 93 machine, Aaron Lovell and Tracy Bryant. Spike Taylor having a bit of a lonely race there with Astrid Hartnell on the number 17 machine. He's been at least 3 times New Zealand champion. I think he was New Zealand champion back in about 2002, and then a couple of years back he got it as well. The current New Zealand championships, Adam Unsworth and Stu Dorr can't afford to come down south and defend their number 1 plate. And over to you, Steve Bryant.
Yeah, of course, missing from the lineup this year, probably the name Tracy Bryant sounds familiar, but not on the side of a bike. And she's always run the little pink 600 DMR in the Formula 2 bike in this class. Oh, we've got an off over here, and that's James Light and Haley. No, it's Demmix. He's gone round at the right-hander. Yeah.
Warwick Demmix, the number
the
49 machine. No, I think that's the number 79 bike. That's a short bike. I think
right in the first place, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was the number 79 bike, James Light and Haley Swift.
They'll be looking fairly...
They're okay. Big cloud of dust, but the bike is upright. They're both walking away from it, so they are okay. So 3 laps to go. Over to you, Steve.
They had been looking quite messy through there all weekend, and there's been a lot of tyre squeal coming off their back tyre going through there, and I'm just not surprised that's happened, actually.
Well, that's what happens. Graham Harris and Carter Denipin, unfortunately, sidelined with a blown motor yesterday, Steve Bryant.
Yep, back to Tracy's pink bike. She was running this at the Nationals for many years, and I'm sure she'll be back on it sometime. But Gordy and Tina McEwen ran it at the Tri-Series, at the Suzuki Tri-Series, Odd Rod Racing. And yeah, g'day to you guys. Pity you couldn't come down and join us with that bike. for this round, but maybe next year.
They'll be watching on Ctas live timing and having a cup of tea, no doubt. I saw them at Wanganui and I says, how's your weekend going at Wanganui? I says, oh, it'd really be nice to be racing, you know, but that's the way it is sometimes, and good to have their support off in the distance. So back out onto the track and go through the Fulton Hogan corner, 2 laps to go. It is Robbie Shorter doing the swinging for Colin Buckley. Last year, Barry Smith was driving the motorcycle for Robbie Shorter, and unfortunately we've just seen the 79 bike of James Light and Haley James there pull out on the inside. They had a big crash. This is Barry Smith and Robbie Shorter had a big crash and rolling over and breaking Barry's collarbone, and hopefully Barry's healed up enough now. They reeled in Colin Buckley, who hadn't raced sidecars I think since about 2002, and it took him 2 meetings before he started breaking. I think it was the first meeting he was breaking lap records down in Timaru, so he's lost none of it. Also a very special man in sidecar racing, Colin Buckley, 1 year won the New Zealand Championships using a different passenger every round. Now you've got to have full confidence in your passenger to be able to pick a different person for all 6 rounds and trust them, and with your life and their life to go out there. I take my hat off to them. I think I was one of those passengers there. We won a couple of races at Manfield, and it was great. We got on the bike, the white flag is out. We got on the bike and he said, how fast do you want to go? I says, let's go about 80% for about 2 or 3 laps, then we'll go about 95, and then we've got to go hard and learn it. And certainly the skill of the man, the precision of Colin Buckley riding made it an easier job for me. I was also having a tough time because I was changing from a long bike to a short bike. Bit of action out there, Steve Bryan, for the number 14 machine.
Yeah, we've got Alex McDonald's just, there's a hand up there on the back of the bike, and they're slowing down through the dipper there, and looks like it's their race run. Yeah, they're going straight ahead at the dipper, and they're just touring to
Well,
to the pits.
that's the first of the DNFs for the sidecars this weekend with Alex McDonald, and in fact the bike number 79 there, James Light and Haley James, got back out there on the track, but they've gone straight ahead and they look like they might be touring back to the pits. They may continue for another race, but they did miss out the dipper, so that's Alex McDonald pulling up against the tyre wall. The white flag is out. We're looking for the lead bike there. They should be coming out of the carousel. Yes, they've just come out of the Christchurch Casino carousel on the Carl Cox Motorsport sponsor machine. The TT Kiwis, Cliff Field is doing a great bit of documentary this weekend with his machine, filming this team, and he went to the Isle of Man and done that going back this year. And over to you, Steve Bryan.
Yeah, he's got GoPros all over these leading bikes, and he comes up with some brilliant footage, and a lot of it's on YouTube under TT Kiwis. You can Google the Aaron Lovell Tracy Bryan crash that happened at Turn 2 here last year. They're quite happy if you look at that. Just Google Aaron Lovell crash, and it's just horrendous. So
okay, here we go. The checkered flag comes out for Robbie Shorter, waving his fist in the air, with Colin Buckley puts his hand up for a second win of the weekend, and that signifies the end of the first round of racing for today. We've still got another race. Alex McDonald's coming through there. He's going to get a finish by coming through there. They'll probably deduct him at least a lap for not going through that dipper, but at least they scored points. Adrian Gore's putting his hand there. They keep him well to the side. Tracy Bryan doing the swinging for Aaron Lovell, come through and get a second place there. Over to you, Steve Bryan.
Yeah, I'm just glad that Colin's tyres went the distance, Colin and Robbie's tyres, because you know, they've been sweating that a little bit, I think, and it's just good that they've managed to pull it off on what they've got.
The number 17 machine, Spike Taylor from Mars.